Hey everybody, this is Emily from Life Enrichment, here to do a trivia video with you all today. I was getting a couple requests for it, so I figured it might be something fun to do. I will go through all of the questions, and then at the end I'll explain how you can play along. But first, why don't you get out your pen or pencil and some paper and get ready to write down some answers. I'll give you a minute to get all that set up. So what I'll do is I'll go through all of the questions, each one individually. I'll give you about a minute or so for you to write down the question or write down your answer if you know. And then at the end, I'll go through all of the questions again, just in case you missed them. All right, I'll give you a couple more seconds if you need to get some pen and paper. All right, let's get started with our first question. Our first question is a history question. And the question is, in ancient Greece, what would you throw at someone to propose marriage? That's an interesting one. This I didn't really know about, so it was fun to learn something new. So a man would take something and he would throw it at a woman to declare his love for her. What would he throw at her? I'll give you a little bit to think of an answer for that one. All right, let's go on to our next question. And our next question is a music question. And the question is, what band did Ringo Starr leave to join the Beatles? Now, as a big Beatles fan myself, it's always fun to learn something new about the Beatles. And this was something I didn't really know about. Hadn't even heard of this band before, so I'll give you some time to think of an answer or write down the question if you need to go back to it later. I'll give you some time. All right, let's go on to our next question. Our next question is a science question. Which two elements on the periodic table are liquid at room temperature? Now, I'm not a big science person, so I looked up this science stuff just for you, because I know there are some science buffs out there, and I had to get that in as one of the categories. Which two elements are liquid at room temperature? I'll give you some time to think of an answer or write down the question. right, let's move on to our next question. Our next question is a movies question. All right. This question is, which female has won the most Academy Awards? Now, I had to throw a little hint in there for you, because it might be not who you're expecting. And the hint is, they weren't awards given for acting. They weren't acting awards. Which woman has the most Academy Awards? And I was fascinated to learn about this woman. I ended up on a deep dive on Google, learning all about her. And I'll give you another little hint about her that I learned. There is a Disney Pixar character that is based on her and her style. The most Academy Awards for a woman. I'll give you some time to think of an answer. All right, let's go on to our next question, which is an animal question. Who doesn't love animals? Now, this question was actually one I already knew, so maybe you'll know it as well. The question is, which mammal has the longest gestation period? Which mammal has the longest gestation period? I'll give you some time to think of that one. This one's probably the easiest question of the 10 we're doing today. All right, let's move on to our next question. Our next question is in the category of geography. The question is, what is the tallest mountain in the Western Hemisphere? Now, I'm not a big geography buff, so I didn't know this one. I think we all know the tallest mountain in the world, but do you know the tallest mountain in the Western Hemisphere? Because I didn't. But now I do, and maybe you do too. Western Hemisphere. All right, let's go on to the next question. Next question is a literature question. The question is, what is the best-selling novel of all time with over 500 million copies sold? Now this one might seem like a trick question, but notice the emphasis on novel. Might not be what you first think when you think of best-selling, but what is the best-selling novel of all time? Single novel. Maybe you've read it, maybe you've read about it. Seen the musical that is loosely based on it. Best-selling novel. I'll give you a couple more seconds to scratch your head on that one. let's keep going. What is our next question? Our next question is a sports question. Who pitched the only no-hit game in World Series history? Now, I'm not a big sports person, but I still found this pretty interesting. There's only been one game in the history of World Series where there were no hits. Now, who was that pitcher? Maybe you know the team, maybe you know the year, but who was the pitcher? Getting specific here. I'll give you a little bit more time to think of that one. All right, let's go on to the next question. Television. Which product was featured in the very first TV advertisement, which was broadcast on July 1st, 1941? Maybe you were around back then. Maybe you had a TV back then. But do you know what product was featured in the first TV advertisement? I'll tell you one thing, it was broadcast in New York. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but it's a fact. What was the product? All right, let's go on to the next question. The next question is a Disney question. And you know what? This is actually our last question. Question number 10. And the question is, which now classic Disney character did Walt Disney himself portray in a school play? I'm sure there are a lot of Disney lovers out there, so this one may not be too tough for you. Which now classic Disney character did Walt himself portray in a school play? Very interesting. Fun fact, Walt Disney is actually the man with the most Academy Awards. He himself won 22 awards in his lifetime, 22 Academy Awards, and obviously the Walt Disney Company has received quite a few many more since then, but in Walt's own lifetime he won 22 Academy Awards. Quite an achievement. Quite an achievement. Right, hopefully you got an answer for that one. Maybe not, but if not, we're gonna go through the answer, all the questions one more time. We'll go through all the questions again in case you missed any. In ancient Greece, what would you throw at someone to propose marriage? That is question number 1. Question number 2. What band did Ringo Starr leave to join the Beatles? Question number 3. Which 2 elements on the periodic table are liquid at room temperature? Question number 4, which female has the most Academy Awards? And question 5, which mammal has the longest gestation period? I'll let you look at those questions for a little bit longer before we go on. All right, let's finish up here. Question number 6, what is the tallest mountain in the Western Hemisphere? Question number 7, what is the best-selling novel of all time? Question number 8, who pitched the only no-hit game in World Series history? Question number 9, which product was featured in the first TV advertisement? And question 10, which now classic Disney character did Walt himself portray in a school play? Again, I'll let you look at those questions for a little bit longer, in case you missed any there. All right, so hopefully you have your pen and paper out, you wrote down your answers, you wrote down the questions if you don't know the answers right now. I hope so. Now, how can you play along? Well, I'm going to suggest you send your answers to Sperry Cecilia, that's my boss Cece, at windsor@celebration.com. Now put in the subject line, Trivia with Emily, so she knows that you are answering the questions. Now the first person to submit all of the correct answers will win a prize. Very, very exciting. And if you don't maybe know all the answers, or you don't want to play along and you just want to know the answers, well, I will be sure to put all of the answers in the next trivia video. Hopefully you all like this and will want to play along. If not, I appreciate your time and I hope you have a very good day. Thanks for watching.